Hey, what's going on, parents? This video right here is going to be all about colic, and then it's going to be about additional information that I bet in your what we like to call mom and dad or parent gut. You probably already knew what I'm about to talk about in this 5 to 10 minute video, but yet you probably didn't, because most doctors, especially general pediatricians, continue to dismiss colic and uncontrollable crying and reflux and vomiting and constipation and arching the back and stiffening the neck in infants. They continue to dismiss it as, oh, it's no big deal, they'll grow out of it. Well, what I want to teach you in this video, and we're going to link a couple of articles and other resources you can really learn more on through this video, is that really most infants don't grow out of colic. They grow into other challenges that are just called different things. But the cause, the neurology, the science, and also when we get to the end of this video, the solution of how to help your kiddo, whether this video rings a bell because your child was colicky 7 years ago and now is struggling with sensory processing disorder, anxiety, those sort of things, this video will get you the answers you need. So here's the deal. Let's go first and look at what's actually causing colic. We're going to call it, for today's video, we're going to call it the root cause. Now, the reason I say root twice is not to just, be redundant for no reason. What most people think, whether on the traditional medical side or even on kind of the natural medical side, is that colic and crying in an infant is caused by digestive issues or kind of this buildup of gas and indigestion. That is accurate. It's just incomplete. There's something before that. And the challenge is, if we think it's just a gas issue, if we think it's just a gut or a tummy issue, then when we go after the action steps to help out, we will do some good things. Most times mom will remove dairy or try and just create a food journal and remove all sorts of offending foods and try and pin the tail on the donkey. That way, they'll add the peas, prune juice, probiotics, those sort of things to try and, colic drops, these sort of things to try and help their infant find some relief. And some of it maybe works a little bit, some of it maybe doesn't, but none of it really seems to get full resolution and really get to the resolution because it isn't getting to the root cause. See, the digestive system, especially in a brand new baby, is completely under the control of what's called the autonomic or central nervous system. So the nervous system's job is to control all. Also, we exactly like this about lymphatics and respiratory, but movement is king. And what's happening for colicky babies is they're not able to move food along through the esophagus, into the stomach, into the intestines, small and large, and get it all moved along efficiently and break apart all the different nutrients, keep what they need, the good stuff to grow, get rid of the bad stuff so they don't get sick or inflamed by it. So all of this tension builds up in the digestive system, but it's really first starting in the nervous system. Now, we're still not done doing our CSI and digging into the cause. Well, what would trigger that stress? Or the word for it is what's called subluxation. I'm going to link an article in this video, an article all about subluxation and how the nervous system goes into what's called dysautonomia, which is just a stressed out of balance nervous system, which usually first shows up as gut problems in a baby, which then will become colic, crying, difficulty nursing, those sort of things. So it's a perfect storm. It's a vicious cycle and a really sequence of stress. But that stress starts on the nervous system first, and it has trigger or triggers. And really what that is first is usually a lot of stress or even abnormal positioning of baby while we're going through the prenatal and pregnancy period. And that stress that builds up on mom's nervous system, if she has a lot of stress and a lot of anxiousness and a lot of, unfortunately, we just don't support, empower, and help moms stay de-stressed during pregnancy. In fact, we just hurl and pile on more stress, more fear, more anxiety at them. Well, that stress and that tension makes its way to the baby because mom's nervous system is baby's nervous system when they're developing in utero. The real biggest cause of colic and challenges and so many issues that happens right in front of us, but because medicine doesn't quite figure it out yet and doesn't point it out, and even if they did, doesn't know how to do anything about it just yet, is really birth trauma. So birth intervention, things like C-section, forceps, vacuum, inductions, those are what we find in the case histories of kiddos with colic. Nearly 1 100% of the time. So that physical stress that goes on to the neck and the nervous system, because those are in our language, really, it's the same thing. The neck, especially this upper area, and the skull and the whole spinal system, that's the conduit. That's the control mechanism or fuse box for this autonomic nervous system, if you will. And there's a very important nerve up here called the vagus nerve, V-A-G-U-S, that travels down all the way through the neck, and it relaxes and opens up the esophagus. It stimulates and turns on the stomach and digestive motility. So when we have this physical tension from pregnancy and or labor and delivery, there's this subluxation or this stress that sets up shop, and it gets in the way of the vagus nerve. Now, this is already 5 minutes in, the nerdiest video you've ever heard about or seen about on colic, right? But here's what you can change that word to: stuck. Okay? When a baby gets stuck in the birth canal and birth intervention comes about, they then get stress stuck on their central nervous system. Traditionally, the first two places it gets stuck up here and in the middle of the back, which is why when they're colicky, they're arching and really arching their neck and stiffening their back and leaning all the way back. They're trying to get tension out of their neck and their spine. Same as you do after you sit at your desk all day long, full of stress. What do? That the chiropractor would go, don't do that. You stretch and arch your back and crack your neck. So that is literally what a baby is doing. They are signaling to us through what they're doing with their body, hey, the problem isn't in my stomach. The problem is in my spine and my nervous system. And so that's why pediatric chiropractic. Now, you got to be the right kind of chiropractor. You got to be trained. You got to be experienced. You got to know exactly what you're doing to find this stress and tension on a baby's nervous system, and gently, easily. When you see a baby get adjusted, it is the smoothest, easiest, safest, unbelievably impactful thing. And really, we always like to make a joke, like if we just, because we're so trained in helping babies with colic, if we just look at a baby who's colicky, they calm down. Just kidding. We have to do the adjustments and the care as well. But that's what's happening. They are stuck in a fight or flight sympathetic storm. And generally, the catalyst of that stress, which leads to colic and leads to everything else, was at birth and pregnancy. And it gets stuck in the physical system. Now, last minute or two for you. Do they grow out of this? No, they don't. Because that motor system on the inside controls digestive motility. Well, the same subluxation, the same trouble with the vagus nerve and all the nerves coming from this brainstem area, this is where all of our motor development, head and neck control, pushing up, tummy time, rolling over, sitting up, army crawling, regular crawling, full motor development is all governed, coordinated, and controlled by that same upper area that is injured during birth. So stress up here causes colic and indigestion. Stress up here causes chronic recurrent ear infections. I could do the same video and just change out the anatomy from the stomach to the ear, nose, throat, and lymphatic system, and we'd be talking about recurrent ear infections in your 4-month, 6-month, 8-month, 10, 12-month-old. And it's the same problem. Subluxation, bad plumbing, bad drainage, and it builds up stress and it builds up sickness. So what we see is colicky babies tend to grow into always sick, recurrent ear infections, sinus congestion, asthma, croup, RSV prone babies. And then that's a lot of antibiotics, which gets in and destroys the gut. That's a lot of nebulizers and steroids, which amps up and stresses out the nervous system even more. And because of the stress that's already there, and then because a lot of the antibiotics and the inhalers come in and add tension to the physiological nervous system, now you have a child moving towards things like sensory processing disorder, ADHD, high energy, high behavior, high meltdowns, high sensitivity, emotional dysregulation. And so what we've seen 15 years running, and we know the science and the neurology behind why, is we see that kids don't grow out of colic. They grow into what we call the perfect storm. And the perfect storm is all sorts of neurodevelopmental delays, neurobehavioral challenges, neuroemotional challenges. Sensory processing is really at the root of all that. And on our website, under the tab Helpful Articles, we will link a couple of the ones I referenced here today into the comments, but get onto that website and get reading. If this video connects to you, and please share this video. If you've got a mama who you know has a colicky baby and they're searching for answers, they're trying prune juice and probiotics and changing diet and everything and getting nowhere, or if you know that a family who has what we call a perfect stormer, who's got sensory, got autism, got these these challenges and you actually remember back, hey, I think they were a tough, fussy baby, get them this video, and then anyone and everyone going through this video, please hit the links. Please get to www.pxdocs.com and check out our articles, check out our guides, check out our resources, because you will find the answers that you need to get your kiddo better there. Because once you find why your child is struggling and really learn the science and the neurology behind it, well, then you know exactly what to do to help them out, which is to get them to a neurologically focused, trained, ready pediatric chiropractor. And we have the best of the best all throughout the world. You can visit our directory there on the website and find someone who's local to you and just reach out, have a chat with them, have a chat with their staff, ask them questions. Again, go through our website, go through their website, find the answers that you know you're not going to find from people who say, don't worry, they'll grow out of it. If someone today still says, don't worry, any doctor of any kind, I don't care their initials or what they're wearing or not, if they say, don't worry, they'll grow out of it, they don't know the latest science and the real neurology behind colic, behind reflux, and behind all these challenges in our little ones that we've normalized that are actually the precipitators of the chronic challenges of autism, anxiety, ADHD, sensory processing, and so many other things that show up later in life. It's the same neurology, so they don't grow out of it. They grow into it. Ashley, perfect. I need to get better at taking questions on here. Let me see. Come on, phone, will you show me? Yeah, already can tell the difference. Oh my goodness, Ashley. Awesome. I can't see the rest of it because I don't know if I got, fat fingers or what. I can't hit it on my phone. I feel like I'm going to knock it over. But yes, when you take, you are a rock star, mom. Virtual high, flip a double high five. It's like the praise hands emoji right at you, Miss Ashley. Because when you take your little one to the chiropractor that early, you see changes that early. Because while the stress on the nervous system still may be there, like we talked about from pregnancy and birth, the newer it is, the faster, quicker, easier we can get it out of there, and you can see that relief and see those changes already. Yes, there is math to what we call neuroplasticity, which simply means the earlier we get started, the quicker we see changes. Now, I'll leave everybody with this, though. That doesn't matter. If this video, you watch the whole thing, and you're like, my 17-year-old had colic and had recurrent ear infections and went through this whole perfect storm path you're laying out, and now at 17, they're riddled with anxiety, epilepsy, no matter what it is. Know this, God made our kids to heal. What we need to help them do that a lot of times is that trained, neurologically focused pediatric chiropractor to get the stress off of their system so that they can heal the way they were designed. Subluxation means stuck. Subluxation means stress stuck on. Healing can't happen in that place. So chiropractic doesn't treat, doesn't cure, doesn't do anything of the healing. When people go, oh, how can you help with that? Well, we help with everything. Actually, the neurology of how we'd help a dad with back pain is the same. Get stress off the system, let it work better on its own. The earlier you do that for babies with colic, constipation, everything, the better the results are. So thank you for sharing that, Ashley. Just an absolute rock star. Wondering if your chiropractor is one of our trained, we call them PX, Pediatric Experience Docs, and hope so. And again, questions, comments, please share this video. A little longer than usual, a little extra nerdy than usual. I think I said dysautonomia and vagus nerve quite a few times in there. I'm usually a little more farmer in this, but I'm in my fancy studio, so maybe that caused me to go a little nerdier. Thank you all for giving us a chance to help your kiddos. Keep searching for answers. Never give up hope, no matter what they're struggling with, and you will find yourself to the people, to the community, the other parents, and the providers, and the pediatric chiropractors you need to get your child healing. It happens every day, literally millions of kids every single day going to the pediatric chiropractor, and it is the fastest growing aspect of healthcare, and we just can't wait to see the results that come for future generations. Because it's time to turn the tide from the sickest, most stressed generation of kids, which again is there right from the perfect storm, and we've normalized it. And we're going to get this information to parents and make being healthy and not having these challenges the new, old normal. It's kind of like organic food. Is it really organic? Is it special food, or is it just how food always was? I'm going to turn the video off now and go have dinner with my family. Love y'all. Have a great night.